Welcome, Matt here. Coming up in today's video, I'm going to share photos and video footage from my new lens. I'm going to split the video into 4 parts. Part 1, we're going to head to the Leitz Park in Wetzlar. I'll show you some behind the scenes. Second, we're going to do a car shoot at Leitz Park. That's what you saw in the intro, but I'll show you a bit more behind the scenes of how we shot it. It's then sadly time to leave Leica Wetzlar and we head to Leica Gallery in Nuremberg and also to the analog shop if you've been there before. Finally, stay with me and I'll tell you all you need to know about this amazing lens. It comes in various mounts and it will allow you to do pano style video and photo footage without any cropping. The new Blazar Mantis lenses are unlike anything I've ever tried. They've got oval apertures instead of the standard round aperture blades. All that coming up. So the first stop is the Leitz Park in Wetzlar. If you've never been and if you're a Leica fan, I highly recommend trying to visit if ever you get the opportunity. You could easily spend a whole day there, either eating Leica cake or looking at Leica cameras or buying Leica watches. There's just so much stuff to look at. We started off meeting with fellow patrons over some coffee and cake, and then it was time to check out the cameras. I have been last year. Last year was my first time, so this is my second visit. But I was with Toby, who's never been before, so we were really kind of geeking out over the different cameras, as all of us are kind of complete Leica nuts. I'm definitely not the first YouTuber to visit, but I am maybe the first YouTuber to shoot this footage on an anamorphic lens using a Leica SL2S. If you've never heard of an anamorphic lens before, I'll put a link to my first anamorphic lens video below that explains it in a bit more detail. In today's video, I'll assume you know the basics and so just show what these lenses can do. All the footage is shot in 4K RAW, and then I just try to colour grade it to best as I can. I'm kind of new to colour grading in DaVinci Resolve. Getting the anamorphic lens has really kind of pushed me and inspired me to try to make better, more cinematic looking videos. So this is my first video of 530, I think, YouTube videos that now includes music. And I'm trying to do colour grading, so feel free to subscribe. The videos are only going to get better. Now, if you're planning to visit Leica Wetzlar, I'd highly recommend you leave your wallet at home. No matter what you think you don't need, there's a good chance you will leave with something. You see that these are now Leica bears and 4 boxes at the counter. Is a bit of a surprise to me, but Thomas and Toby both left with 2 bears each. Probably great collector's pieces, but still a surprise. Okay, onto the car shoot. So all the footage you saw in the intro and you're going to see in a second is shot with the Leica SL2S and the brand new Blazar Mantis 35mm T2 1.33 squeeze lens. As I say, all shot 4K, and then I just de-squeezed it to give like a wider frame in DaVinci Resolve. Kim, we accidentally bumped into at the premise, like on the Leica parking area when we visited last autumn. And so I wrote to her ahead of this trip and said, do you want to meet up? Fancy doing another car shoot? I fancy doing some really cinematic looking footage with the new lens that I've just ordered. So Kim said yes, and then she even gave me a choice of cars. So she came in her nice Mercedes. I'll put a link to her Instagram below, check her out. And then she also brought her dad's 1973 Opel Commodore. I asked her if she would colour match her something on her, like her clothing, to the inside of the car. So we did red lips, red handbag, and then the car's got obviously red seats inside. And that gave me a really nice colour palette to work with when shooting both photos and video. If you've seen me before on somewhere like Instagram, you know that I shoot mostly black and white. But for video, the colours are just so good. They were just, it's a very overused word, but very cinematic looking. And then we just kind of position the car to give the best composition and strongest frame as if it was a photo. So I just tried to shoot every video clip as if it was a photo, and then I also shot some photos as well. This is a pro tip that I've not thought of before. Use a vape to suck in your smoke and then have a more toxic cigar in your hand that looks cool for photos, but then blow out the smoke from the vape. Kim's dad was there, so I asked him to jump in for a few photos because as an ex-wedding photographer, this might be a really treasured photo in years to come. A big thanks to Kim's dad for bringing the car to let us shoot with, and again a special thanks to Kim for her amazing energy and trying all of our crazy ideas. I made a massive shot list in the weeks building up to this trip of all the kind of different angles I wanted to shoot the car from, different compositions, just all the things I thought might make nice video clips and also nice photos. As mentioned, all the images you're seeing here are shot raw with the Leica SL2S. I did my Mr. Leica presets, still need to release those for the SL2S. Feel free to subscribe to the newsletter, link below. And then because they're shot with an anamorphic lens, I then need to open them in Photoshop and resize them. Once resized, images go from about 6000 by 4000 to 6000 by around 2700. So not quite as thin as an X-Pan. Now, when we were doing the photo shoot, another photographer walked past who also had a nice car and said, "Would you like to photograph our car?" So this is Marco in the stripy t-shirt. Shout out to Marco for coming and introducing himself and saying, would we like to borrow his car? That was me. He asked me to sit in his car so he could take some photos. So we grabbed Kim. I'm clearly not a model. And then, we shot a few photos with Kim. The light was getting really nice, but sadly it was almost time for us to leave. So it was a bit of a mad rush. Maybe felt like about 15 minutes. So I didn't get that many photos, but the car looks so nice. And this is Kim geeking out of the car. She's like a massive car fan as well as a car model. Thanks, Kim. You're awesome. Okay, our next destination was Nuremberg. First stop, the analog store. We know them from visiting last year, and so it was great to go back, say hello to people, and then as always you get chatting to people in the store and geeking out over cameras and lenses. Shout out to Alex there, and thanks to everyone for making us feel so welcome. From there we went on to the Leica gallery, also in Nuremberg. So again, started off in the store, had a quick geek around looking at what cameras and lenses and things they've got. They've got all the 100th anniversary books and whatnot. We then went upstairs where you find the gallery. This is where we went last year to see the Grainy Days exhibition, if you know the popular YouTuber Jason. Great to see the images. I recommend going if you get a chance to head to Nuremberg. Some really nice shots, especially the black and whites. You know I'm a big fan of black and white. It's then time to chat to the staff and look a bit more at the cameras and lenses. I was telling them about the new Blazar Mantis lens, and so we're all kind of gathered round geeking out over cameras and lenses. Again, thanks for the warm welcome. With the sun setting at the end of a great day, it's sadly time to leave Nuremberg, jump back in the car. Next stop was going to be the Czech Republic. I'll explain. I didn't mention it at the start, but our next stop was the Czech Republic. I have done a full YouTube video already about this, and so I'll share that link video below. I wasn't actually using the anamorphic lens for doing many photos, but I did use it for almost all the behind the scenes footage, as you can see here. So if you want to see or recheck the behind the scenes footage with the models, feel free to check the link below. But now it's time to tell you more about this fantastic new lens from Blazar. If you're a die-hard Leica photographer with zero interest in video, there's a huge chance you've never heard the name Blazar. I'd never heard of Blazar either until I watched one of Cam Mackey's videos. Check out Cam Mackey's videos if you want to see how the Blazar Mantis lenses compared to the Remis, the Katos and various other anamorphic lenses. The main thing you need to know is this lens is not M mount, but you can get it in like an L mount and adapt it to pretty much most mirrorless camera. The version I got was a PL mount, as you'll see, and then I got a PL to L adapter so I can use it on my Leica SL2S, Leica SL and Leica CL if I want to do that, in addition to my Lumix cameras, Lumix S9, Lumix S5. My setup for the trip, Leica SL2S mostly for photos, Lumix S9 mostly for videos, although I did shoot most of the car shoot with the Leica SL2S photos and video. Anamorphic lenses tend to be larger and heavier than our standard M lenses we're used to. As such, they balance better on something like a Leica SL2S or maybe Lumix S5 II, something like that. Here you can see the lens, the PL adapter and the camera. That's what a PL mount looks like. It's got a big protruding rear element compared to the standard rangefinder lenses, as I say, we're used to on, say, Leica M cameras. The adapter I bought was a Viltrox PL to L adapter. You can get these on Amazon. I think I got mine from AliExpress. You can get more expensive adapters which allow you to put filters inside, but I got this one and it works on my Lumix cameras and Leica cameras. From the website you can see you can use this lens on Sony E-mount, Nikon Z, Canon RF, Lumix L and all the various others mentioned. They come in 6 versions from 25mm up to 100mm, most of them T2, most of them 1.33 crop factor. That means you got 35mm height for my example, but around 26mm wide because it's 35mm times 1.6. The main special feature about this lens is it's got oval iris blades instead of standard round iris blades that you get on every other lens I've ever tested. So I think it could be the first lens ever made, like mass production, that's got an oval iris instead of standard circular blades. If you're planning on shooting video with a fast aperture lens such as this 35T2, you're going to need to get yourself an ND filter. Tony at Free Roll Filters wrote to me and said, would I like to try their combined variable ND and circular polarizing filter all in one? And then also you can attach the mist filter as well. So I was like, oh yes please. So I was using a combined circular polarizer and ND, or variable ND, and then I had a magnetic clip-on mist filter, and then you've got the magnetic lens cap as well. So all very easy, and yeah, that allowed me to shoot all the footage that you saw in this video. Had no problems with like the dreaded black cross when using a variable ND filter, and I can put a link below to Free Roll Filters if you're interested. Okay, let's look at lens characteristics, starting with lens flare. So historically, you think of anamorphic lenses, you think of blue flare, such as the J.J. Abrams movies. This lens actually comes with amber flare, unlike the blue flare you just saw. So that gives a much more realistic footage, especially when shooting with sunlight. And I prefer the amber flare to the blue flares in most circumstances. Testing the lenses in various conditions, you actually get some bright red flares in some instances, already pink, which I found very pretty looking. It's not something I've seen before that comes to mind. You also get both the classic streaks of flare from anamorphic lenses, one reason why people love anamorphic lenses, but also veiling flare like you see on spherical lenses. So if you don't like veiling flare or it's getting too much in certain situations, just use a matte box as you see me using here for that music video I shot. Lens bokeh. Now this is a special feature of this lens. Because of the oval aperture, you've got a 1.33 squeeze, but what seems like a 2 times squeeze bokeh. So you get longer, more oval bokeh you would expect from a 1.33 35mm T2 lens. So it's really pretty for that kind of blurry backgrounds. Distortion, like any anamorphic lens, they do distort at the corners. Videographers love that because it gives you a bit more juice, a bit more imperfections in the corners. And as you can see here, it is more imperfect than say the Siri lenses. I'll put a link below to the Siri anamorphic lenses, which tend to be sharper corner to corner. That said, it's no different from shooting a vintage lens, and for me the sharpness was more than good enough, especially at the center where I tend to place my subject. Close focus. This is normally a weakness of anamorphic lenses. The Siri lenses only focus around 1.9 meters I believe. This goes to 1.48, which is so much better. That being said, for my close-up shots I use the cheap diopters around £20 from Amazon, and you get 4 in a set. Okay, squeeze factor. So this lens, as mentioned, has got a 1.33 squeeze factor. That means your height, as I mentioned, is 35mm, but it's around 26mm wide. So you need to de-squeeze your photos in either Photoshop per image, so it takes a bit of time, and de-squeeze your video footage in something like DaVinci Resolve. To my eyes, it's closer to around 1.45 than 1.33, just so you know. Okay, the conclusion. One of my first impressions of the Blazar Mantis 35T2 lens after my road trip and just using it for photos, videos, everything that I could throw at it. Absolutely love the character from this lens, even if it is bigger and heavier than my Siri lenses. It's definitely got, as I say, more juice, more imperfections in the corners, which I prefer to making kind of hopefully cinematic looking footage, as you saw here and also throughout this video. Let me know in the comments if you like it. If you want the smallest, lightest, sharpest anamorphic lens in L mount, check out the Siri Saturn T2.9 lenses. They come in amber flare or blue flare, but for me, I wanted the Mantis for my music video and also my road trip. Link below to all the videos. Thanks for watching and thanks for amazing patrons.